What's going on, everybody? Josh Callaway alongside James D. Jackson, Sooners Illustrated and 24/7 Sports at the stadium in Norman, where Oklahoma is 4-0. They won their SEC opener on Saturday afternoon over Auburn, 24-17 the final. Crazy game, James. This was a chaotic game. Felt like a lot of just wild things happened. There was a lot of penalties, a lot of ugly football, but a lot of really good football, too. Obviously, the return of Jackson Arnold. When these two teams played last year in Auburn, it was a crazy game. Also, the Kip Lewis pick six, the Kip six game out there in Auburn. James, Oklahoma found a way. It was not pretty offensively. They got the big drive late when they needed it. Obviously, we'll get into it. The defense is so fun to watch. The defensive line had themselves a day. But bottom line, it wasn't pretty. But this is how the SEC games are going to be, right? They're going to be close. It was a close one-score game in the fourth quarter, and that was the big question coming into the season. Would this team be able to get the big drive when they needed it, get the big stop when they needed it? They did both of those things today, and they found a way to outlast Auburn 24-17.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal game for Oklahoma just because they found a way to win in a game that they probably shouldn't have in certain aspects. Like last year, these type of games, OU loses. They lose those. They find a way to lose those games. This time they found a way to win, and John Mateer going out on the last drive, 6 passes, all the way down the field, and they win. They get the drive that they need. The defense goes in there and plugs it up. How about R. Mason Thomas sitting out the first half and going there and making that play on the final?
Explodes on it. Was like his second snap. He got a sack too. Yeah,
he's a closer. He's been doing that. He keeps on doing it. So, I mean, we talked about it on the podcast beforehand. Auburn, they have a really great receiver core, and they have a great defensive line. That was their early problems that Oklahoma had to overcome, and they were able to do that in the second half, and for sure. Auburn made some mistakes from their end. I think the crowd got into it a little bit more, and that helped out for OU's offense and OU's defense, and it just worked out for them. I think overall, it was a good win because you set yourself up for a good runway over the next two or 3 weeks where you got the bye week, you get a lot of guys coming back that were kind of hurt, and it's going to be a good shot for Oklahoma to go into the Red River game after they can take care of Kent State, obviously, as well.
We got to talk about this defense. Oh, my God. The defensive line in particular. The defense overall had a very nice day. Kip Lewis leads them with 10 tackles. The linebackers were really good. Secondary had some tough moments at times. Like you said, those Auburn receivers are really good. But the defensive line, 10 sacks today against Jackson Arnold. He was living on the ground. Jaden Jackson, David Stone, these two guys are just – Jaden Jackson was obviously a freshman All-American last year, but David Stone has made that leap. Just a wrecking ball, absolutely wrecking shop constantly. Taylor Wine gets the big sack to start the game, kind of set the tone. This place exploded on that. It was one of the loudest pops I've heard in the stadium ever in any game I've been at here. You mentioned our Mason Thomas. He comes right in the game after missing the first half for that targeting in Philly. Gets a sack immediately. Gets the game-clinching sack on the safety at the end. The final 3 plays of the game, bang, 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 when they're way backed up in this end zone and the safety to cap it. This defense, James, is so much fun to watch. Hard eyes emoji watching this. I love it. It's so much fun. And the defensive line, I mean, coming into the year, it was talked about. Best defensive line in the SEC, one of the best in the country. And we all were like, man, we know it's going to be good, but that's crazy. Like, they're playing like that right now. This defense, and again, specifically this defensive line, are going to give them a chance to win every weekend. They are just, I can't say enough, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, we're not at the point to where we thought Jaden Jackson and David Stone were going to be at. Those guys have developed into ways that you're seeing the 5-star, and the high-caliber guys that they're going to be. I mean, and Jaden Jackson's already proved it. As you said, it was All-American last year. But David Stone coming along as well now, it's taking this defensive line to a whole other level. And you see it in this game with 10 sacks, program record. It's just phenomenal what they're doing because they cause so much disruption. And it's already a comfortable environment for Jackson Arnold. It's uncomfortable. You're going against your former team. The crowd hates you pretty much throughout the entire game. And you're going against a defensive line that's playing like that. It's very hard to do. I mean, just the way that Auburn was even able to score 17 points is still phenomenal because of everything that they were going against in this game. So just it's amazing what the defensive line has done. It's phenomenal what they got going on.
They just took over the game. You can't run on them. That continues to be a common theme today. Auburn average, let's see, I got 1.9 yards per carry today for Auburn. 67 yards. Now, a lot of that's because of all the sacks, obviously, but in general, Auburn couldn't run the ball. The only success Auburn had offensively were really just Cam Coleman being a dude, 50-50 jump balls. He got Cortland Guillory a few times. I thought the coverage was okay a couple times, but Cam Coleman just beat him on a 50-50 ball a handful of times. Obviously had some PIs mixed in there as well. But, yeah, this defense is just I can't say enough, man. It's so much fun. And Jaden Jackson and David Stone, those two guys who are going to be back next year, by the way. They have another year after this year that before they're even draft eligible. They just blow up every play over and over and over. They got R. Mason coming off the edge. I thought they weathered it without R. Mason in the first half pretty well. Taylor Wine, like I said, got that big sack early. It's just the waves and the depth. They just keep bringing more guys at you over and over. It's so much fun to watch. It's incredible. Brent Venables has done on that side of the football. It's astonishing, really.
I know that people want to talk down on the corners, but that's a first-round draft pick type of receiver that they have out there.
He'll play in the NFL, Cam Coleman.
He is that good. And so it's a freshman on him out there. Either Day Jordan or Cortland Gilly were out there on him sometimes. It's going to happen. You're going to give up some plays. It happens in the NFL. It's not going to be perfect, but the fact that they were able to do it in the spurts they needed to do it is what makes it, a winnable game there. So that's what I say to that, because I know people were talking about it a lot, about the corners, but that's what it is for that game. So.
No doubt. So much fun to watch. Offensively, a mixed bag today. Go ahead.
Should we mention Peyton Bowen overrunning?
Oh, yeah. Peyton Bowen was a man possessed in the first half. Obviously, high school teammates with Jackson Arnold. Yep. He had the Kobe Bryant video yesterday. If you didn't see it, you know what I'm referring to, the Pau Gasol Kobe Bryant thing. They, again, didn't get a turnover. They still don't have a turnover through 4 games. They were so close to 2. And the Peyton Bowen one that you just referenced would have been a pick 6. He almost really jumped it too good. He overran it and tried to kind of back it. Kendall Daniels had a good-looking interception that he didn't catch either. Still no turnovers. You would prefer to change that, but they're so close. They're going to get him eventually, right? Yeah. Surely.
Yeah, and I think it should be counted to, like, if you get a 4th down stop or
a safety,
safety, that should be counted as a turnover. So I think they're there. They're just not getting the super hype one right now. But I mean, as long as you win, I don't think anybody cares overall. It's just one of those things. Like, you want the icing on the cake, but it is what it is at this point in time.
10 sacks in Auburn. Barely. They were at -2 yards rushing deep into the third quarter in this game. This defense is just A+ again from that side of the football. Offensively now, we'll dive into that. So, it wasn't great, obviously. They didn't run the ball at all in this game. Just couldn't get anything going. 32 yards on 26 carries. That's 1.2 per attempt. But they overcame it because John Mateer, after not being real sharp early, he was not good in the first half of this game. He was only 8 of 16 at the half. He finished with a flurry. He completed 16 of his last 17, I believe it was, passes. Isaiah Satania, another huge game for him. 9 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Had that big catch in the corner of the end zone on the game-winning drive. Not corner of the end zone, but the corner right by the pylon inside the 10 to set up the game-winning touchdown. That was a perfect throw from John Mateer, by the way. This offense, James, it's still a work in progress. Offensive line was beat up. They did get Jake Michael and Fabechi Wiwu in there. Michael Masusi did not start. Logan Howland did. They were playing, but they were clearly hampered. We talked about that in the game preview going in, to beat up. They were good enough. When the chips were down, they got their best drive of the day. They got the score they needed. It needs to be better. They're going to have to run the ball better. But again, at the end of the day, when the chips are down, we need points to win this game. They got it. So I think you still feel encouraged offensively overall, but it's going to have to be better.
Yeah, the run game is not there yet. We talked about it when it was against Illinois State. We said Oklahoma goes empty a lot. We saw that going into the game. Were they going to be able to do that against an SEC type of team? And they did it today. I think because they didn't run the ball well, they got to the empty parts of the formations, and that opened up those drag routes underneath that John Mateer was hitting a lot in the second half that kept the offense in a rhythm, got them in a rhythm there. And so it's pretty cool to see what they were able to do. Isaiah Satanga, as you mentioned.
Big game.
I mean, another big game for him because he also was great against Temple as well. So it's been a good outing for him the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks. So just really good to see that. He has to be a fan of the replay because today he got 2 replays that went in his favor.
Boy, that fumble. Did you think it was a fumble?
I didn't think it was
in the first quarter.
I didn't think it was a fumble, but I could see it. It was so close that I didn't know if they had enough to overturn it. So that was the thing I saw on that one. But he has to have fun with that. I mean, that's pretty fun for him. So
benefited him a couple times for sure. Yeah, John Mateer today. He just the first half, the plays I thought were there. He just wasn't sharp. Like he was making the right decisions. I thought. He just was kind of missing guys. Like he just wasn't. As accurate as we've seen, certainly at times in the first 3 games. But, man, again, same kind of thing as the offense overall. When the chips were down, he was excellent in the fourth quarter of this game, and his best drive was when they had to have it. So, it's not like I don't think he's still a great quarterback. That first half was like, hey, man, we need you to be a little better. But he buckled down. He had a great second half. His stat line ended up being really good despite the first half not being great.
The first half he was 8 of 19 passing. The first half it was 6-7 yards. So it wasn't great. I mean, then he found his rhythm.
He got it going.
And found, and like people were talking about it in the press box. If you're going to be a Heisman candidate, OU's going to need you on that game-winning drive. You have to score here. You have to prove that if you're going to keep that, caliber of quarterback play in your ear. And he did that. And I think he did it really well. And they almost got in there too fast. Seemed like to me, like it was 6 plays. They were down there. So it was. Yeah. I mean, it's good overall that they executed that well. And John Mateer just keeps his streak going of 1 touchdown pass, 1 run
That's
touchdown.
Right, he did
as well. So 10 games of him of doing that. So that's still a great stat to have overall.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just whenever Auburn is able to get down and on that drive where they took the lead, they had a 4th and long that Jackson Arnold scrambled for, and they had another 4th down where they got a PI to keep the drive alive. It's like they were so close to getting that stop, and then they punch in, they score, and all of a sudden Oklahoma trails for the first time today with 7 minutes left, and it's like, all right, here we go. We're going to learn a lot about John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle and this offense right now, and they produced, again, their best drive of the day. So it was not great offensively overall, don't get me wrong, but it's still, I think, encouraging to see that they needed a big drive to win a big game, and they went and they got it. And so there's still a lot to be encouraged by. You'll get Michael Fasusi back eventually. You're probably going to add Giovanni Gibson to this offense eventually. So still a lot to improve upon offensively. But I don't think you should leave this game tonight thinking like, oh, we're not as good as we thought offensively. Like, I still think there's a lot to be encouraged by kind of moving forward. Is that where you are too?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, and Fasusi got in there a little bit.
Right.
There in the, he didn't start. He got in there a little bit, but he came back off because just wasn't there. It wasn't there all the way. And so Oklahoma went elsewhere, and they still were able to produce the way they should have, and especially in that second half, as we've been mentioning throughout this entire time. So a good win for Oklahoma, as I said, because the offense and the defense showed up in those final moments. They found a way to win those moments that they didn't do last year, and that's just the difference of this game overall. Yeah,
that was really the main thing that kept me from buying all the way in the preseason was that. Is this team going to be able to get the drive when they need it, the stop when they need it? They did today on both fronts. They got the big score, and then Arnold and Auburn had plenty of time to go try and respond, and they didn't do anything but go backwards. And again, that sequence at the end, oh my God, those last 3 plays, that was a master class of defensive line play from Brent Venables in this Oklahoma defense. So special teams is really good. Tate Sandell makes all his field goals. Grayson Miller, he's just a really good punter, I guess.
Yeah, the first one was 66 yards.
He pinned him way in the back. Yeah, flipped the field.
Yeah, if the guy didn't catch the ball there, I mean, it could have been a touchback. And he caught it, and Oklahoma just took full advantage of it and stopped him down there inside the 5-yard line. So it was just a great outing overall because you didn't have necessarily a different unit to complain about in this one. Like we talked about the special teams against Michigan. It wasn't that this time around. Special teams did great. Tate Sandell, 3 field goal makes. That's big for this game. It's big in those close games, and he got it done. So just really good overall.
No, a lot to feel good about on both the punter and kicker side of things after tonight's game, especially Sandell making those field goals. He made a long one early, gave him the lead. It's like it just feels good when you have a kicker you feel confident in, and I think you can feel confident in Tate Sandell right now. So for you to kind of wrap up as we go ahead, we're going into the bye now. Kent State after that, and then Texas. So barring a total disaster, they should be 5-0 and in the top 5 or 6 maybe. Who knows what the rankings will look like by the time we get there, but it's all gonna be out in front of this team, obviously, going into Dallas in a couple weeks when they play Texas. Where are you at? I mean, this team has answered every test so far. Another gutty win. I mean, we were just talking about it when we were walking out here. It feels like it's going to be a lot of this in the SEC. Like, it's almost every game they play is probably going to be like this. It's going to be close in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be which team can come up with the big plays at the end. Today it was Oklahoma. Can they continue to do that enough to win enough games to try and get to the playoff or whatever? Where you have this team, though, as confidence-wise of after tonight of like, yeah, this team can do everything they want to do, which is get to the playoff, maybe even compete for an SEC title. All that. How are you feeling about the team after tonight?
I think they're there. I mean, you have a Heisman type of quarterback in the helm, pretty much, and the defense is playing. That's a championship level defense.
It is.
However you want to look at it. I mean, that's where they're at. So I think if you look at the schedule, it looked tough, going into the season. But Oklahoma could win every single one of those games if they played well in all those games. Sure. I mean, it's like there's nobody on the schedule you think they're just not going to beat, and that's not how you felt last year. It feels a lot different this year going into it. So I think Oklahoma's in really good shape. Like I said, going into this bye week, getting some key guys back where you can get them into the offense, like work a little bit more in practice and see how they feel going into the Red River rivalry. I mean, it's pretty much what it could be if you get them in there and they do well against Kent State as well. So, like, that's where I see Oklahoma at right now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I think Oklahoma can win every game they play the rest of the way. Now, That's not me saying they will win every game the rest of the way, because it's going to be really hard to do that. Yeah. But they can. Like, they are good enough, and it's mainly because of the defense. I mean, that defense, I don't know what else the defense would need to prove to you. It's a championship-level defense with a championship-level defensive line, right? And offensively, there's still questions. I think it's probably good enough when paired with the defense to win, and I certainly think the quarterback is good enough. There's still questions over there. We'll see how it goes along when they go on the road. We haven't seen them in a big road environment yet, offensively, just, to this point, all due respect to Temple, right? So there's still questions on that side, but that defense is going to give them a chance every game they play, no matter who they play. And so everything's on the table. Now, at the same time, they could easily still lose 3 or 4 games because, again, I think all these games are going to be close, but they're going to have a chance to win every game they play. And so we'll see how it shakes out. It's going to be like the NFL in the SEC this year. Like, it's every game's going to come down to the fourth quarter. And, so far, Oklahoma has played good football in the fourth quarter when they needed to against Michigan and here tonight against Auburn. Can they continue to do that the rest of the way and do it on the road? We'll find out. But right now, I think you got to feel pretty good if you're an OU fan.
Yep. The defense, like you said, the defense gave Oklahoma time to figure out their offense. Yeah. And when you in a tough league like this, that's what you need. You need something like that. So that's great. Brent Venables said it at halftime. He told the guys it's going to come down to the final drive, and it did. It did. And they succeeded in those moments.
It did. They stepped up, got the drive, took the touchdown for the lead. John Mateer played great. That throw to Satania was great. And then the defense just said, all right, we'll do the rest from here. Took care of business. What a game. This was an awesome crowd, by the way. Great atmosphere. It was loud. Everyone was really into it. Obviously, Jackson Arnold's return. I mentioned it. That Taylor Wines sack in the first quarter, it was loud. And then the safety at the end of Lar Mason Thomas it was a party in here. It was awesome. So, really fun day at the stadium. We'll enjoy the bye. I'm sure the team will enjoy the bye. They'll rest up, get some guys back. Obviously, some big names we had not even yet seen. Giovanni Gibson, Eli Bowen. These are all guys that very well could be back after the bye week. Yep. Eli Bowen dressed out today for the first time. So, seems like we're getting close on those guys. So, a lot to be excited by.
He's running routes out there.
Yeah, he's dressed. I think he's in good shape to play very soon. Kent State, I think, is very realistic there. So a lot to be excited by. We'll enjoy the bye week, but there's a lot of coverage over on the website for this one, oklahoma.247sports.com. Be a lot more over the course of the weekend. Obviously, sorry, James, into next week. Full cover reaction from the team on the YouTube channel. If you're watching the wrap there right now already, you have Brent Venables, Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, a bunch of other players, including Lar Mason Thomas. Want to hear from him. Certainly, James was able to catch up with him a little bit in the post-game. So hear from all those guys. A lot of smiles, as you would guess, post-game. And we'll be back with you on Monday for the podcast. Tom Green and us two will break it all apart, wrap it all up, start to look ahead to the second phase of the season, 4 games in, what's kind of moving forward, and we'll get you all ready through the bye week and be back ready to go into October after that. That's it for now. For James E. Jackson, I'm Josh Callaway. Oklahoma gets it done 24-17. They knock off Auburn and go to 1-0 in SEC play heading into the bye week.